Welcome to episode 33 of Secret City Geek Lab, your resource for everything geek. We'll talk movies, TV, comic books, video games, and anything geek. And I'm your host, Alan Ng, and you'll hear from me and members of the improv comedy group Secret City Comic Society. Coming up this week, it's all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This past weekend was the debut of Season 2 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Plus, next year, there'll be an upcoming movie featuring Megan Fox. But first up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's back on Nickelodeon for a second season, and I attended the Anime Expo panel, and we had a chance to listen to the creative team talk about the television series. Panelists include Alan Wan, who's the show director. He directed the premiere episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Brandan and Omman, who is a story editor and writer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Arenio Moramba, he is a design supervisor.
On the far right, I have Alan Wan. He's the director. He was on the pilot. And right next to him, sitting in the middle, is Brandan Omman. And you might know him from shows like Iron Man Armored Adventures. Here's one you might have seen a couple months ago. It's got some talk going on. Iron Man Rise of Technivore, the anime Iron Man. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Brandan is a story editor and a writer. He's come on board during part of Season 1 and is now on Season 2 and moving forward to work on Season 3. And last but not least, Arenio Moramba. Quiet gentleman over here drawing. He's the design supervisor for TMNT. And he came on board during the pilot stage, and he's on Season 1 and Season 2, and is also working forward. As you guys know, the show is on Nickelodeon. Came on September this year, or last year, and is moving forward. It's a huge success, and it really is because of the hard work these guys put into it. So let me just start and ask some questions. So, Alan, we'll start with you. We'll just keep working that way. How did you come to work on the series? How did you come to work on TMNT?
I think everyone on this panel right now all worked with the executive producer, Cyril Neely. I met Cyril when I was on Teen Titans, and then I eventually went to work on Super Robot Monkey with him in 2003. So ever since that, I had a close relationship with Cyril. So when he told me he's doing TMNT, I'm like, dude, I want to be on. So then he's like, okay, yeah, you're on, and that was that. So I started since the pilot storyboards, and I just went from there to now moving on to Season 3.
How to break down your day as a director?
I basically need to work with everyone from design to CG design to storyboard artists to editors. And of course, I work very closely with Cyril to make sure that the shows come back the way he sees it. So my main focus is actually on story. So I do work with a core team of 5 story artists, and we focus mainly on single episodes at a time. Yeah,
that's what you do.
Yeah, and then I also work very closely with Brandan to ensure stories flow okay as a single and for the series as well.
Thanks. And so, Brandan, how did you come into the series?
Well, much like Alan, I've been at Zero forever. I was the story editor of Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go back in 2003, 2004, and worked with these guys on that as well. And Cyril's a great guy. I've known him forever, and we worked on other projects as well. We did a Super Friends direct-to-DVD short, and I was working at Marvel at the time and developing a show called Thunderbirds, which was a make of the old 60s show. When I got the call, it was like, oh, they need a story editor for Season 2, and come in and sort of fix Season 1, which had some story problems, and yeah, the rest is history.
Kind of same with Alan. Can you kind of give us just a brief overview of what a story editor does for a series?
Basically, a story editor is the head writer. They come up, we come up with, or I should say I come up with, the story from premise to outline to script, and I work with these guys pretty closely. We usually, I'll assign scripts out to writers. When scripts come in, if they're messed up, I'll fix them. That's pretty much my day. It's just writing nonstop, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, pretty much.
And Arenio, what brought you on board TMNT for Nickelodeon?
Same as everybody else. Zero. Last show with Cyril was, I think, Avengers is my Cyril's.
Yeah, we worked on that as well.
It's been a while since I worked with Cyril last, and I was at Warner Brothers. I think I was a character designer on Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and it was the show was coming to an end for me. And he just asked, he's like, hey, help me out with this pilot, do some boards, because I like to switch from boards to design, when I can. And yeah, the rest is history. He asked me to come on board, and I said, yeah, because it's Turtles and it's Zero, so.
One thing the audience might not know is that, Zero, lifelong fan of Turtles. It's in his blood.
Yeah.
This is his dream project, and I think these guys know that, and they've worked with him very closely to bring it to life.
He was supposed to be here tonight too, or today too, but he had to be in Japan, so.
He's in Japan. Oh.
But there's an audience that understands having to go to Japan. So let's ask also, like, what your day-to-day is like, kind of what you do.
I usually handle all the designs, from characters to props to sets, and I deal with a team of I guess it's like five. Well, actually now it's 10 designers, and I also deal with the CG modeling team as well. Of course, I work closely with both Zero, Brandan, and the directors to make sure, if they have any questions with design, I'm there to answer it. Or if we need to change things because the board's doing this now, or Brandan or Zero wants this now, then we change it in design when we can. I also share the responsibility with Nadi Mori, who's the color supervisor. So she and I are kind of like our direction team. From the 2D side, she handles all the color. Then on the CG side, she handles the texture and the lighting. She helps supervise that as well. So
Cool. And I want to jump back in time real quick, and we don't have to go fully into this, but there's tons of people here who are interested in this kind of work, right? So just for each of the three of you, did you go to school for this type of work, or at what age did you know that this was the career path for you?
No.
Yeah, start with Alan.
No, I hated school.
So you're saying for everyone to be successful, drop out of school?
Just draw a lot.
Oh yeah, draw. Yeah.
Draw a lot, watch a lot of movies. That's it. Yeah, and analyze the movies you watch. That's more important than going to school for this kind of work.
good or bad movies.
Good or bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
Sometimes the bad are good.
Yeah.
And what about you, Brandan?
I went to the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, and I studied film and animation. And but being a writer, art school is really the best place to be a writer. But so I kind of pursued both on my own and got more into the writing side. But yeah, it's the same. Like, you want to be a writer, just write nonstop all the time.
Yeah, I went to. Well, I'm from here, from LA. I went to Roland High School in Roland Heights, and at the time they had an animation program. I think they still do. They should still. And so I would be in that class during the day, and then I think twice a week they had an RLP program, it was an after-school program, and I was there as well. And I also, drew on my spare time. And Art Center, they had a program called Saturday High. I went there on Saturdays and would sneak in during the day too, and sneak in at CalArt sometimes, with some of my friends who actually had a car. And I was very lucky in '96, and maybe 3-4 months after I graduated, I started working in animation. And same as these guys, I just draw.
So the overlying message is, really throw yourself into what it is.
Yeah. Even if you're having a bad day, just do anything. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about season 1. So clearly, it's an established franchise, and everyone has an idea of what each Ninja Turtle is to them. And here you guys are coming on board after this long history. So I think the question would be, what for season 1 was the biggest challenge for each of you coming into this, or the biggest challenge of season 1 while you're working on it?
Arenio, why don't you start?
Oh man, come on. Biggest challenge was it's Turtles, and working on a franchise like this, it's super intimidating. And I think from what I can remember, I ended up designing Shredder, and I sat there for about an hour. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this character? It's already been designed. I can't mess with it anymore. That was one of the biggest. And then the Krang was another thing that I designed, and it was like, what am I supposed to do? Because that was super challenging just from the design standpoint.
No, I think that's very interesting. What about for you, Brandan?
For season 1, the scripts were a little wonky in season 1, so I came in about halfway through and I started rewriting some scripts, tweaking them, adding jokes, trying to make them work. Not just me, also executive producer Peter Hastings went in and did a lot of rewriting, trying to just basically, make everything gel. It was a bit problematic, but I feel like the show so far is pretty good, right? I mean, and we've got season 2 coming up, which is pretty awesome. We're really stoked for that. We can't talk too much about season 2, but hopefully you guys will be at Comic-Con. You can talk a little bit more, but what's that? Yeah, we're gonna have a lot more stuff to show. This panel is a little impromptu, so
pirate panel.
It's a pirate panel. It's a bit unofficial too, so hopefully you guys,
Yeah, this is really like we were saying, kind of an intimate. Let's just like relax and check out season 1.
Yeah, and just talk about it, and later on if you guys have questions, we can talk about more things for season 1.
We still got to get this answer out of Alan, though. I think he's dodging.
Well, to be honest, when I went on this project, I wasn't a huge Turtles fan, so I don't really know the series that well. I know Ninja Turtles, and I know of it, but I really know nothing about the franchise. So Zero being like the biggest Turtles fan ever, my vision of Turtles is basically whatever he tells me. Because I remember, after starting the show, I'm like, man, this show is pretty dark and violent. So I ended up watching the whole series, and it's like, it's pretty different. And then when I go back and actually look at the old Kevin Eastman comic, and then I realized our show is actually a mix of the old comics and the old series together. And then I learned a lot about Turtles through Zero, because I just went and I'm like, I just want to do Turtles with weapons and talk. That's it.
Lots of violence.
Well, I don't know. I didn't sign up for the violence part until I started. And I'm like, yes.
I signed up for that.
Yeah, I signed up for violence.
And the mutations, right?
Yes.
A lot of mutants.
Monsters.
So it probably was, in some ways, a strength that you didn't have this emotional luggage to these characters, or this. It probably put you in a good position in some ways to be objective and just really focus on the direction.
Yes, because I worked with an empty cup, so whatever information, I don't resist it. I just let it go in.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good process. I don't have perceptions of what the show is.
No, that's definitely a strength sometimes. Well, speaking of season 1, now I want to grill you guys on your favorite moment of season 1. And that can either be in the series itself with the characters, or behind the scenes when something finally clicked that you guys were putting together. What's a favorite moment for you for season 1?
You want to answer this?
I can't say, because my favorite moment is actually in the finale. You guys have to watch it.
Brandon, for you, what's a great moment of season 1?
Man, there's so many. I mean, again, season finales coming up, the 2-parter is pretty amazing, but I really love Leatherhead, all the Leatherhead. I really like Cockroach Terminator. I think he's pretty badass. I'm trying to think moments. It's just hard to say because there's just so many. I mean, all the Mikey stuff, all the weird Mikey gags are great, and there's just so much. I mean, but Leatherhead, I have a special sort of place in my heart for Leatherhead. So it's awesome, and he comes back down the line. I can't say too much.
How about you?
No, there's a lot. I think the favorite moment is not to get too sappy, but ever since Titans, a lot of us try to work with each other, throughout the different studios and shows, and because I felt we had a strong bond, and we fed off each other's creativity, and the chance I get to work with Zero or Alan or Michael Chang or any of the guys I used to work with, that's been my favorite moment.
I actually take it back. I have a favorite moment.
Oh, good.
When I slapped Mr. Murakami,
Oh yes,
the noodle shop guy, because Fong is actually modeled after me.
based off of him. He got the slap Glenn, and I got to draw.
That was my old boss.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Alan's modeled after one of the Purple Dragons. Are actually, Fong is modeled after Alan. Purple Dragon sitting right here.
Little insider information.
Yeah. Just like an old Warner Brother tradition, when you caricatures of people and put people in there. That's what I like to do. Just sneak people in if I can. So
Yeah, that's good. So I think Alan touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to ask the other two guys if you were fans of Ninja Turtles before coming on board the series.
Yeah, I was definitely a fan, especially of the comics. And I like the old 80s show as well. I mean, going back, I was doing some research and I was like, wow, this show isn't quite what I remember. But, you know, but it's still, there's some funny moments. And in season 2, you'll see a little bit of, here and there, some tributes to the original 80s cartoon. You just have to watch. Yeah, the face on my face. Everybody loves that. Everybody wants more references, so we're going to give you guys some more references in season 2, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I was definitely a fan, and I also love the live action movies. I thought they were great. The first 2 are definitely awesome. But yeah, so I would definitely count myself as a Turtles fan.
Well, I have a little insight on Brandan, and one thing he did mention are the toys.
Oh yeah, huge. I've got pretty much, I've got a lot of the original Playmates 80s and early 90s Ninja Turtles toys. So big fan of that as well. And we want to bring back as many of those old school classic characters as we can, as they'll let us. So just keep watching.
What about you, sir?
For me, yeah, I grew up with the cartoon, and I didn't get into the comics till way later. Yeah, I remember, was it 5th grade, 4th grade, somewhere around there. That's what I would obsessively draw the Turtles over and over and over again. And I would, even from my, I don't know, I think I was in an art class or something in 4th grade, and that's all I drew, Turtles.
And if 4th grade you could meet you now, would it just blow his mind? So I get paid to do this?
Out of sheer jealousy, the 4th grade me would probably kill me. Just out of sheer jealousy. I'm an asshole.
Speaking of early on and now, let's talk about your guys' influences. Outside of Turtles, and do those influences maybe reflect in the show? Stuff that you guys love, stuff that that makes you happy, that makes you want to tune in. Alan, I'll start with you down there.
Well, I always like watching anime, but for this series, I think a lot of my old Hong Kong action movie reference I actually apply to a lot of the action scene. I'm a big fan of the B movies, and they use a lot of really, really smart, cheap camera tricks that I actually use in the show. It's the best. So yeah, those are the influence that I apply with. Like I said, I always like the anime, so that's my influence.
I like that. That's good. It's interesting. Now, what about you, Brandon?
Well, I mean, anime is definitely a starting point, but I'd also say a lot of from a writing standpoint, a lot of B horror movies and sci-fi movies and things like that. There's Outer Limits and to trauma movies. That's a big influence on Krang plots and yeah, I would say horror movies, and especially 80s horror and sci-fi and that. That's a big influence on us. And I think from a designing standpoint, board standpoint as well, that's also an influence.
Yeah, my influence is obviously anime, but I also big tokusatsu fan, kaiju fan. I love Ultraman, Inazuma, Space Sheriff Gavan, all that stuff, all that old stuff, and that is a huge influence on design. One of the edicts Zero has for the monsters and the mutants is it's a guy in a suit. So that's why they're kind of weird and they move kind of weird because I always picture them as a guy in a suit. The only thing that's missing is the zipper, and sometimes I want to put a zipper back there. It'd be kind of nice. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, okay, so I think I saw this hand shoot up right over here.
Hey, so who came up with Space Heroes? Are we going to get more of it? I love it.
Question: who came up with Space Heroes, and are they going to get more of it?
Zero.
Yeah, that was Zero. I mean, it's obviously a tribute to the 70s Star Trek cartoon. Do you guys know the 70s Star Trek cartoon?
Yeah!
Wow, that's kind of shocking, actually. But I will say we want to do a different series for every season. So it's a completely different series. So we're going to try and do a little tribute to various cartoons of various eras. That's something that
What inspired the storyline behind the first season?
Well, I mean, the classic comics, like somewhat the 80s cartoon, but if you go back and you look at the comics, to a certain degree it's that. I mean, obviously it's expanded because Shredder's really only in the first comic, but it was really just sort of, Zero had an idea, sort of like a plan that he wanted to follow through, that sort of paid tribute to not just the cartoon, but also the comics, the live-action movies, all of that. He wanted to kind of make it feel like it's everything that you love about Turtles, and sort of just expand it out into 26 episodes. But it's hard to talk about because we haven't even had the season finale yet. So.
How difficult is it to create for a show that's heavy on continuity versus something that's more episodic?
I just have to talk to everyone.
Yeah, communication. Like we're always constantly communicating and not communicating. So.
I mean, it's difficult because you want to entertain, you want to bring new viewers in, and have the standalone show that you can get, but then you also sort of obviously want to link it to the full continuity of the series. So it's always tricky. I mean, that's like that with every series that we work on.
Yeah.
Like you want it to feel standalone and almost like you're watching a mini movie, but then you want to kind of bring in this bigger arc that you want to keep coming back to. So it's just a hard balance that we have to find. I mean, it's very difficult. It's not easy.
I think too. Also, another level that you could probably speak to is you're writing for different age groups.
Yeah.
You're writing that's equally as much a challenge.
Like we wanted to appeal to obviously our demographic, which is younger, but at the same time, like we want like everybody to enjoy it. We want the parents to enjoy it. We want college kids to enjoy it. High school kids. We want everybody. So we don't ever try and dumb it down or make it feel like it's just something that's a little kiddie. It's for everyone. So that's the goal. That's like
It's difficult too because like it was maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I just finished season 1.
Yes.
And I'm still working on season 2, and we're also working on season 3, which you just mentioned. So my brain's constantly scattered. I take things.
So we've got season 3, people.
Season 3.
It's difficult to keep track of everything. And that's, I don't know if that answers the question at all. Yeah, thank you.
One of my favorite things of the show is how, in the old versions, I mean, most of the time Turtles kind of look the same, but in this version we have Donnie who's a little taller and Raph who's, a little stronger, buffer. I was wondering who came up with the whole spreading out the design and sort of focusing in on their younger, more childish teenagers' personalities.
Zero.
Good question.
Zero. Yeah. It's good because
We're very glad that you like that because
Yeah.
I really liked it when I first saw it.
So do I. Yeah, they all look the same. I think if it were up to him, they'd all have red masks, but everything else they would probably be the same proportions as they are now. It's just differentiates everybody. So it's kind of cool.
How about a round of applause for the gap in Donnie's teeth, right? How amazing is that? I'm going to get this gentleman right here.
How did the development of the show, it's 2 parts, how did the development of the show get affected by the fact that you guys have all worked on episodic, and episodic is very different than this kind of new trend in animation of actually having physical storylines? What was the nervousness behind the storyline? Also, prior to the show about to release, there was a whole lot of discussion of the original material was not kids show material, and there was actually a lot of talk of they really shouldn't be doing the show because this is not originally meant for kids. And even the movies are kind of like, they're starting to get like all hoopla because the movies have some issues that parents are like, ooh, that's not right. You can't talk about randomly beating people up.
Right, well, I think these guys, one thing they're lucky is they have nothing to do with the movie, so they're lucky about that. They're focusing on the show, which we know is gold. Yeah, I wish these guys were working on the film.
Thank you.
But so, I think that kind of goes back to Brandon's answers about the writing for different age groups and those challenges. As far as, I don't know, the question, is this audience response or fan response? Or?
It's essentially, because you guys have worked on Titans, and two of you worked on Titans. Titans it looked like at certain points Titans was episodic, and then they'd have these small story arcs inside Titans. And I thought that was amazing. And then it would go back to episodic, and then it seemed like Korra happened, or actually the original Airbender series happened, and now everybody's trying to do storylines. And how did that long-term storylines? And how did that affect Turtles? Because the original series was not storyline based.
Okay, so yeah, now I understand. The question is the challenges of doing long-term story arcs in a modern kid show.
Well, I mean, the biggest problem is that, network doesn't really like heavily serialized storylines. Like, they like standalones so we can bring in, new viewers and whatnot. So it gets very complicated. It's also just very difficult, like, relying on, you've got to see all 7 episodes before this episode comes out or whatever. You have to know it's... So that gets tricky, too, and it gets very convoluted. But, so the storyline, the overall arc is light enough that anybody can come in, they can get it. And, there's enough reminders within a single episode that you say, oh, okay, I understand what's going on here. Like I get it. I mean, we would like it to be more serialized, but obviously, it's just very difficult. Network is usually against it.
So tread lightly.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, just to go off my name, what was the importance, or why is April O'Neil 16 high schooler in this series and not just another 20-something damsel in distress just working in New York?
Good question. You're challenging them. Jeez.
I think she's technically the 5th turtle. In some ways she is.
Getting there anyway.
And also, it's just more identifiable for our audience. If she's younger, if she's more innocent. I mean, generally, studios don't like you having adults in shows, unfortunately. I mean, and also it just makes her a bit more level and more accessible, I think. And she's also not, she's also a strong female, which is important. She's not, we don't want to make her the damsel in distress. Yeah, I mean, she kicks butt, right? She threw a guy down a stairwell.
That girl.
So yeah, I mean, it's just, we just want to make her a strong, and it's just cool having her younger, and the Turtles are teenagers, obviously. Why not make her a teenager? It's better, I think.
Donnie prefers she's a teenager.
And we've already, it's already been announced that Casey Jones is in season 2. So there might be a bit of, that romance may get tossed up a little bit now. Don't worry. I mean, there's still
Little love triangle.
Is it going to be Donnie or is it going to be Casey? We don't know. You have to watch.
It's the essence of drama, my friends.
A lot of drama.
Will the vigilante known as Nobody be in the series?
The vigilante known as Nobody.
The vigilante known as Nobody. I mean, we can't mention what's going to happen in season 2 and 3 yet. I mean, who you're going to see other than Casey Jones. But you just have to watch and see if nobody will show up.
You can guarantee Nobody will be in all the seasons. And we'll ask one more. You can do one more.
Will Leo say Buyakasha?
Will Leo say Buyakasha?
Yes. So why can't Leo say Buyakasha?
Oh yeah!
What's that?
Never mind.
Yeah, well, you have to watch season 2. He may say Buyakasha. And there may even be a cowabunga at some point.
Okay, let's get to this gentleman here. How you doing? What's your name?
Mark.
Mark. And what is your question?
It's not really about the show. What is your opinion about the Michael Bay film of TMNT?
I will start off by saying these guys are professionals, and they have to be very careful what they say. And it is a franchise that they are all part of in some way. So.
Also, everything is owned by Viacom, so we have to...
We'll be shot dead on set.
I will answer for them. They hope when they go to the theater to see it, it's a fantastic film.
Yes.
Hope being the key word.
I will say that they've also been looking at our stuff, our designs, I'm not going to say that the Turtles aren't going to be all steroided out. It's going to be extreme Bay action, obviously.
A lot of lens flares.
A lot of lens flares.
A
lot of massive explosions and slow-mo.
Sweet camera moves.
The sweet camera moves. The camera never stopping.
Okay, well, let's and good question, just, I want to keep these guys working, so. Let's ask a question here. What's your name?
Melanie.
And Melanie, what's your question?
If you were to describe TMNT in one word, what would it be?
I'd say psychotic. come on, like the pulverizer. Look what happened to the pulverizer. I love that. You guys wanted that. You guys demanded that.
No, I demanded that.
But we all demanded.
Psychotic.
I just said psychotic.
I agree.
Psychotic.
Pain.
Well, first word that popped to my mind is unity. Definitely something about the four turtles and how they are all aspects of each of our. All of us are Donnie, right? All of us are Leo. All of us are Raph or Mikey at one point in our personality or life.
Brotherhood.
The show's a good brotherhood. That's what I enjoy about the show a lot. Like a lot of brothers slapping each other around, just a bunch of goofballs, but they know how to kill people. So
I'm gonna ask another writing type question. The series seems to like a well balance of the old cartoon and the really dark comic book. Like how difficult is it to like merge those two together into like this perfect like slapsticky yet really nice story arc type of show for kids?
Oh man, it's not easy because you're trying to find that balance. We've got some episodes coming up in season 2 that are super goofy. Other ones are very dark and kind of grim. And sometimes we try and merge them. It's just not easy. It's one of the hardest shows I think that any of us have ever worked on. I think my entire career, it's probably, at least speaking for myself, it's the hardest show. It's just not easy. I think it's not easy from a design standpoint. I don't think, because it's also CG, it's not easy from a directing standpoint. It's just, and in season 1 we had to do a lot of tweaking and reworking things to make it work, but I think it's coming out pretty well.
What's gonna happen with Karai and Leo?
we can't talk about that. Sorry.
Have human turtle babies?
To underline what Brandan was saying about the first question, we also have, other than writing, we have a strong board team, and we've got a lot of really talented board guys, board gals on our crew, and they kind of add to a lot of like what you see. There's when we have our storyboard handouts, like it's myself, obviously Brandon, and then the director, whether it's Alan, Michael, or Sam or Sebastian, and we sit there and it's like spitball ideas, and then they come up with even more. So yeah, a lot of credit goes to the board team and the directors.
The board guys, like we'll get a board back and be like, wow, they just made it 10 times better. Like it's so the board team is really amazing. Like unbelievable. And the directors are fantastic. Like they're really, really great.
I'm not sure if you can answer this question, but with all the mutants that appeared, the turtles seem to be consistently the weakest mutants ever. Is that because it's an older version of the mutagen? Is it an exposure type thing, or because they were young? Is there a reason all the mutants that come after them are just so uber strong?
Or monstrous, or you have to look at it. It's also it's not that different from the 80s cartoon.
Well, for this is just my own opinion, but like it makes the heroes more heroic when you're fighting up against something that's like almost unbeatable. So it's like, and yeah, just to see the whole squad of dudes that have to fight the turtles, it's like they have to work harder. So
before TMNT, I was wondering, what would you say is your favorite version of the TMNT series? Would it be the 80s cartoon, the 2000s cartoon, or the comic book?
Somebody better say they like the 2000s cartoon.
I like the old movie, the Golden Harvest movies.
Woo!
Yeah, the old school ones, like the animatronic mask.
I like the live action movies and also the comic books.
I like the movies.
Favorite film of the 3?
First one.
The first one.
Yeah. Although there's things I like about the second one.
I had a quick question about, you've all said how the series kind of turned a little dark and gritty, sort of. I was wondering, how hard was it to fly that through Nickelodeon, being a younger age demographic station?
You should answer this anyway. Well, it's always difficult. Design-wise,
I think it's trade secret.
Yeah.
Trade secret.
But trying to get stuff through at times, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to weapons.
There's a lot of things that we don't get through.
Yeah, it's a lot of storytelling. We try to hide the violence in the way it's told. It doesn't appear violent until you kind of watch it. It's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, just wait. There's a couple episodes coming up you guys have to see, which are super crazy. Really insane.
And what do you think gets flagged more? Like the gross out factor, the violence factor? Like what do you think is the biggest challenge?
Both gross out factor and from the design standpoint, it's funny because like when they see the line art, sometimes network will react to the line art like, oh man, like, you can't do that. But then when they see the color, it's even worse. Like Mutagen Man, we had to be very careful.
Mutagen Man. Yeah, originally Mutagen Man, like network did not want Timothy, aka the Pulverizer, to melt.
Yeah.
Blob, Ascension blob
Guts.
Yeah, that was like a big, and then finally, I don't know how we got it through. It was like a miracle. It just
It's
happened.
because all the guts are pink.
Yeah, I mean, it's still these like brain and disembodied organs. It's just, it's pretty disgusting. But I know there's a lot of fans who are very upset and depressed over that.
So how has April justified herself living in the sewers with the turtles to her aunt?
She's in danger. The sewers are a very safe place. Animal diseases down there.
She got her shots.
She got all her shots.
Her aunt's very liberal.
Have you guys seen Scientifically Accurate Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
You seen that? So she got all her shots.
Well, I have to say thank you so much to everyone who came out. All right, thanks for coming out, guys.
Thank you.